Greatness is the most demanding mistress you're ever going to encounter. And I understand the advice that I'm about to give you is not for everyone. Most people should turn this off. But if you're going to stick with me, if you're going to listen to what I have to say, it's because you want something tremendous in your life. You want to stand out from everyone else. You want to do something more than other people think is possible. You literally want to stand outside the norm. And if that's the case for you, then understand that, as Albert Einstein said, only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. If you want to get great, if you really want to make a skill set your own, if you want to be able to do something, and at the end of the day, if you want to transform the world, if you want to make grand changes, if you want to do all of that shit, all the empty words that people spout all the time, let me tell you, the only thing that's going to separate you from all the other blowhards who are just talking words and will never do anything is to give yourself over completely, to let that obsession, let that thing that you love completely consume you. And in that, your only chance to really become great lies. As Franz Kafka said, don't bend. Don't water down. Don't try to make it logical. Rather, follow your most intense obsessions mercilessly. Can you do that? Can you become mercilessly obsessed? Can you let something occupy you to where all logic and reason is gone out the window and the only thing that matters is whether or not you accomplish? Will you hold yourself accountable to metrics? Will you look at the world and see, am I actually making change? Are you prepared to hold yourself to that standard? Because if you are, there is nothing you can't fucking do. If you're willing to take that responsibility on to transform yourself as a human being, if you give yourself over to getting great, if you give yourself over to that obsession, if you feed it like you would feed a beast, if you feed it like you would feed a fire that can wipe out an entire mountainside, then you've got a chance. But it's got to burn within you like that. You've got to feed it like that. You've got to feed it skills. You've got to get better every day. You've got to constantly wake up and understand exactly what it is that you're building towards that, and build towards it with a relentlessness that other people think is mania, that other people can see only madness in what you do. And if you can push yourself to that level, then the world will bend to your will.
There is nothing you cannot be, there's nothing you cannot do, there's nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created. Who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. I tell you this, you are your own rule maker. You set the guidelines, and you decide how well you have done, how well you are doing. For you are the one who has decided who and what you really are, and who you want to be. And you are the only one who can assess how well you're doing. All you see in your world is the outcome of your idea about it. Do you want your life to truly take off? Life will take off for you then, when you choose for it to.
Make a choice. Like, you just decide.
You have not so chosen as yet. You have procrastinated, prolonged, protracted, protested. Now it's time that you promulgated and produced what you have been promised.
What it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide.
Your world would not be in its present condition were you to have simply listened to your experience. The result of your not listening to your experience is that you keep reliving it over and over again. You cannot resist something to which you grant no reality. The act of resisting a thing is the act of granting it life. When you resist an energy, you place it there.
You attract not just what you fear, you attract what you feel, what you are.
The more you resist, the more you make it real, whatever it is you are resisting. What you open your eyes to look at disappears. That is, it ceases to hold its illusory form. If you look at something, truly look at it, you will see right through it and right through any illusion it holds for you, leaving nothing but ultimate reality in your sight. In the face of ultimate reality, your puny illusion has no power. It cannot long hold you in its weakening grip. You see the truth of it, and the truth sets you free. Only when you say, I did this, can you find the power to change it. It is much easier to change what you are doing than to change what another is doing. The first step in changing anything is to know and accept that you have chosen it to be what it is. You are always in the process of creating, every moment, every minute, every day. How you can create we'll go into later. For now, just take my word for it. You are a big creation machine, and you are turning out a new manifestation literally as fast as you can think.
We really do paint our world with our thoughts and our level of self-belief.
You are a threefold being. You consist of body, mind, and spirit. You could also call these the physical, the non-physical, and the metaphysical. The process of creation starts with thought, an idea, conception, visualization.
If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Everything you see was once someone's idea. Nothing exists in your world that did not first exist as pure thought.
If you have a clear picture in your head of something that is going to happen, a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what.
Thought is the first level of creation.
If you can see it here,
next comes the word.
And you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen.
Everything you say is a thought expressed. It is creative and sends forth creative energy into the universe.
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on Dumb and Dumber.
Next comes action. Actions are words moving. Words are thoughts expressed. Thoughts are ideas formed.
Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, go eat a sandwich.
Go first to your highest thought about yourself. Imagine the you that you would be if you lived that thought every day. Imagine what you would think, do, and say, and how you would respond to what others do and say.
Every second of every day I was daydreaming.
Put the new car up on your mirror. Put the weight you want to be on the refrigerator. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
So, do you want your life to take off? Begin at once to imagine it the way you want it to be, and move into that. Check every thought, word, and action that does not fall into harmony with that. Move away from those. When you have a thought that is not in alignment with your higher vision, change to a new thought, then and there. When you say a thing that is out of alignment with your grandest idea, make a note not to say something like that again. When you do a thing that is misaligned with your best intention, decide to make that the last time. And make it right with whomever was involved if you can.
I stayed true to my dreams, and by doing that, eventually it came true.
This will require tremendous mental and physical effort. It will entail constant, moment-to-moment monitoring of your every thought, word, and deed. It will involve continued choice-making, consciously. This whole process is a massive move to consciousness. What you will find out if you undertake this challenge is that you've spent half your life unconscious. That is to say, unaware on a conscious level of what you are choosing in the way of thoughts, words, and deeds until you experience the aftermath of them. Then when you experience these results, you deny that your thoughts, words, and deeds had anything to do with them.
I want to remind you to continue to dream and dream big.
What dream or vision do you want to turn into reality?
There is nothing you cannot be. There's nothing you cannot do. There's nothing you cannot have.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. If you're going to try, go all the way.
I want to dispel a myth for you. It's the talent myth. It's the belief that some people were just born with more than others, that some people are naturally gifted and some aren't, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and whatever you're going to be is essentially determined by how you started, that your DNA is exactly your destiny. I'm here to tell you right now, that's bullshit. It's just not true. It's not the truth of the way that humans are designed. As a species, we're the ultimate adaptation machine. The very thing that puts us at the top of the pyramid is our ability to adapt. It is the fact that the brain is plastic, that it responds to change, it responds to stressors, it responds to repetition. And repetition is a slave to obsession. As Conor McGregor said, there's no talent here. This is hard work. This is an obsession. You could be anyone if you put in the time. That's one of the greatest athletes of our time telling you that he's not the result of genetics. He's not the result of natural gifts. He hasn't been bestowed something by God. He has shown up day after day in the most mundane of conditions. On the cold days, on the hot days, he put in the work because he was obsessed with what he could become. And that repetition that you need to actually gain a skill follows that obsession. So in you right now, today, you want to start building that obsession. You want to look at it like an ember that can become a raging fire, but it needs your time and attention. It needs your time and attention. You've got to take that interest. You've got to take that spark of desire and you've got to fan the flames. You've got to turn it into that obsession. And from that obsession, if you put in the work, if you do the things day in and day out, the backbreaking work, pushing through the pain, fighting through, feeling like an idiot, fighting through embarrassment, getting up, brushing yourself off, doing it again, practicing, putting yourself at somebody's feet and asking, what could I have done better? Not look at the things that you're doing well, but look at the things that you're doing wrong. Look at the things that you're doing poorly, staring at your inadequacies with no loss of pride. Because the only thing you value in yourself is your willingness to do that, your willingness to work your ass off. And as Sylvester Stallone said, I'm not the richest, smartest, or most talented person in the world, but I succeed because I keep going and going and going. And that's the secret. There's nothing more than that. The people that you see that win at the highest level, they were the ones that didn't give up. They're the survivors. And you've got to ask yourself, am I a survivor type? Am I the type of person that continues to push through when it gets hard, when it gets boring, when I feel lost, when I don't know what I'm doing, when I have no faith in myself, even in that darkest hour? Can I push forward? Can I accept that the human body will respond to that stress? It will respond to that stimulus, but I have to show up and I have to do the work. And so that's the beautiful thing. You're not going to separate yourself based on your genetics. You're not going to separate yourself based on who your parents were or where you were born. You're going to separate yourself by showing up when you don't want to. You're going to separate yourself by pushing forward when it hurts. You're going to separate yourself by always moving forward, even when the forward is falling on your face. So never lose sight of that. It's the person that keeps going that can't be defeated.
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe.
If you have a clear picture in your head of something is going to happen, a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what.
And I put it in my wallet and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on Dumb and Dumber.
I learned a lot from Jim Carrey on that show, and he is absolutely correct. If you can see it and believe it, it is a lot easier to achieve it.
If you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen.
If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
You attract not just what you fear, you attract what you feel, what you are.
You have to have a very clear vision, a very clear goal of where you want to go, because only then you will get there.
Make a choice. Like, you just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide.
Anyone, any walk of life, to go and achieve things that are deemed unthinkable and impossible.
Like attracts like. You have to understand, you are a magnet. Whatever you are, that's what you draw to you.
Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, go eat a sandwich.
A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. You truly believe in it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality.
I want to remind you to continue to dream and dream big.
I stayed true to my dreams, and by doing that, eventually they came true.
We really do paint our world with our thoughts and our level of self-belief.
Every second of every day I was daydreaming it.
Put the new car up on your mirror. Put the weight you want to be on the refrigerator. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
You can now tell your son that he was a part of this.
I look forward to the day when I can show him this. You know what I mean? Show him what hard work can achieve, and show him that if you work hard, you can achieve great things.
Everybody that's successful lays a blueprint out. I can go down a list, from comedians to actors to entrepreneurs to self-made mogul. You're looking at people that start off with a small vision, and that vision manifested into something beyond expectation.
What dream or vision do you want to turn into reality?
Implement what it took to get this life, and really instill hard work and focus and dedication into his mindset, so he goes and achieves his own greatness.
Don't let anybody steer you away from where you want to be in life. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your guidance counselors. If you have a passion and you feel confident that you can do it, go after it. The hell with everybody else. This is your life. You have the tools and resources. When you wake up every day, know that you're blessed. You've been given an opportunity that most people in life have not. You have the ability to live your dreams.
First and foremost, starts with identifying. I wouldn't even start with the skill. I would start with the self. In the chapter on seeking clarity, we say it's like what we found for high performers is they've identified these 4 things. They're more intentional in these 4 areas. Number 1 is high performers are consistently seeking clarity. Who do I want to be? And I know a lot of people do that when they turn 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70, and people do that at New Year's. But high performers are doing that like in every situation. Like when I walked down the stairs here, I was like, who do I want to be in this interview right now with my friend Tom? Like, I want to do a good job for him, you know? I made that performance necessity on myself. Like, I want to do a good job. So I was like, well, I want to be present, I want to be enthusiastic, I want to be bold, like, I want to be those things. High performers are constantly seeking clarity about how they want to interact with other people. And I think a big development growth point for people is determining, how do I really want to treat people when they don't agree with me, or when they're hating on me, or when they're discounting me, or they're being mean to me, or we're in a fight? Because I think some of those are the greatest growth areas of our life. You know, we have all these comparisons that cause us cortisol or anxiety, that shut us down, and then we stop performing our best because we're trying to follow somebody versus just go do our thing. There is a difference between passion and obsession. And high performers have obsession about the topic, right? They are obsessed about the topic in which they're trying to learn, master, grow into. And so that obsession is real. And I tell people the difference, here's how you know the difference between the two. When you're passionate, everybody cheers you on. When you're obsessed, they're like, why you gotta be so crazy? Why can't you be satisfied? Why do you always gotta get things so perfect? Why do you spend so much time here? When you're obsessed, people think you're nuts. So it's different. And it's like, I always tell people, if no one thinks you're crazy, you're not yet operating to the outer limits of your potential. You're not there yet. Because somebody in your life should say, man, you really care about this in like a crazy way. And when you get there, you know you found your thing. And not everybody finds that. We have to determine the feeling that we are after and live into that feeling, not hope it lands on us. And that's when someone starts getting real mastery in life. Determine what the questions you're going to ask at the end of your life are going to be. Find out those questions. What will you ask at the end of your life to evaluate your life so that you would know if you were happy with your life? Like, figure out those questions and then live each day intentionally so you're happy with the answers at the end. Know your questions, man. Live intentionally and earn the life that you've been given, because this moment's a blessing. So earn this moment and live intentionally. And when someone actually asks, when they say, do I want to make an impact? And the answer is yes, and they own it. They realize they're going to have to develop. They can no longer leave their growth to randomness, because if they do, they'll always be mediocre. And they realize, I got to become something entirely above both of those. That's what most people don't see. They're like, we made this binary false conversation, right? It's not a true sort of choice here. It's a false dichotomy, we call it, right? It's not strengths or weaknesses. Many of you, if you have a big dream, a huge goal, you got to become something entirely above and beyond any strengths you even know about, feel, or own, and go way beyond any weaknesses you've ever even addressed or even you know about, because you're going to discover so many new strengths and so many new weaknesses on the path that it's almost irrelevant what they are now. It's what's the goal and build into that. So I think it's true for everybody. You got to own your morning, you got to win it, because that starts and sets up everything else. I know you believe that as well. Like, people need that discipline, those routines that will help the rest of their day go better. Psychologists talk about the power of expectancy. When you talk about motivation, there's only two things that spark motivation. One is ambition, and that is I want more of, or I want a greater depth of, right? I want a greater depth of connection with my lady, that's ambition. Or I want a better meditative practice, that's ambition, right? I want to be better at my job, that's ambition. So it starts with ambition. But ambition, if it's not coupled with what they call expectancy in psychology, you're screwed. Expectancy says, I believe that I can figure that out. I believe that I can achieve that. I believe that that is possible for me. Because if we don't believe it's possible for me, you can show them all the results from 1,000 people. So they don't try. Expectancy is the problem. You got to bust through the beliefs to get them to understand that it is possible for them, not for other people, for them. And if you can open that gate for somebody, and often that's only achieved through learning, then you get somebody who starts really moving ahead forward. I mean, really moving ahead. Like the second they go, wait, that's possible for me? They'll try 50 stupid things, right? They'll try anything. But if they don't believe it's possible for them, they'll just quit.
If there is no joy when you wake up in the morning, if you dread the sound of the alarm clock going off, if you feel stagnant, if you have the thought in your head that there has got to be more to life than this, you know what you should do?
I want you to know something, that the bigger your dream is, I want you to understand the harder the grind. The bigger your dream is, the earlier you're gonna have to get up. The longer you're gonna have to stay up. The bigger your dream is, the more effort you're gonna have to put in. You'll never see it for those of you who are 70% beast mode, 30% gazelle. That's just enough for that other person to outdo you. Listen to me, that's just enough for the other person who wants just what you want. I want you to think about those goals. I want you to taste them. I want you to internalize it. I'm telling you to dream your dream because I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you to know how close. I want you, just like when the weather is changing, you can feel it. I want you to be able to feel when you're getting closer to it and closer to it. But more importantly, I want you to know when you dream your dream that there are other people who are dreaming the exact same dream. When you said to yourself, when the ball comes down, this is what I want to accomplish, you're not the only person that wants to accomplish it. And now I ask you this question: what do you do when 1,000 other people want exactly what you want? What do you do when you're not the only one that wants to make $1 million in your company? You're not the only one that wants to be the president. You're not the only one that wants to be the CEO. What if you're not the only one that wants what you want? What if there are thousands of other people who want what you want? You have to outwork them. You got to outgrind them. You got to get up earlier. You got to stay up later. You got to execute, and you got to go from 70 to 120.
If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
Stop crying and just keep hustling. Hustle is the most important word ever. If you want this, if you're miserable, or if you don't like it, or you want to do something else and you have a passion somewhere else, work 9 to 5, spend a couple hours with your family. 7 to 2 in the morning is plenty of time to do damage. I mean, you start building your equity and your brand and whatever you're trying to accomplish after hours. Everybody has time. Stop watching Lost.
If you really have a drive and you really put your heart and soul into something, you can really make anything happen.
Wanted to just prove everybody wrong, you know what I mean? I wanted to make it, and I was going to make it regardless of what anybody said.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. Yes, your family supports you. Yes, your friends support you, but you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day.
My breakthrough was actually deciding I wanted to be an actor and go into a drama college. It changed my life. It turned my dreams into a reality. It gave me an actual, tangible target to go, oh, actually, I could do this. That was my breakthrough, because it was a breakthrough of my mind.
Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? Do that.
Right now is not the time to stop. You can't stop. You're stopping right now. Now's not the time to stop or worry or back up or become apathetic. Now is the time to start again. Every day start over. Now is not the time to start or back up or retreat or get lost in all the problems. Look, you got to assume right now that you can do way more than you're doing. Ask yourself this question: what is my potential? Is my potential greater than what I'm delivering at, regardless of what people think about my achievements or lack of achievements, whatever the case is? Look around you, and what you see is average everywhere. Average has become an epidemic. You don't have people living up to their potential. You have people doing almost nothing, people retreating, backing up, people that are lazy. Now is the time to start again. Your security, your family's security, your future is left in your hands. Your destiny is yours, not someone else's.
If there is no joy when you wake up in the morning, if you dread the sound of the alarm clock going off, if you feel stagnant, if you have the thought in your head that there has got to be more to life than this, you know what you should do? You should stop doing whatever it is you're doing. You will become exceptional the moment you make an exceptional decision.
The only thing that changes your life is making a decision.
You have to be so clear in your mind exactly what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And for me, it doesn't work without any goals, without any targets. I cannot compete properly.
Commitment is when you now, after you've decided, you commit to do this for the long term. Whether it's hard or easy, doesn't matter. You're doing this. If you're having a difficult time with something, your relationship isn't where you want it to be, your finances are not where you want to be, your body's not where you want to be, your business is not where you want to be, you need to take massive action. And if that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else. Keep going with massive action and you will find the way, because it will give you momentum.
You have to be able to see what doesn't exist in order to be able to pull off or achieve what in most people's minds seems to be impossible.